Snow White was the shit when you were growing up, huh?
It was.
It was. All right, welcome back to Woman's Dance. I am Sarah Rourke.
And Victoria.
Nice to see you all, hear you all, be with you all, whatever this is. We don't have a set agenda today. We're missing our lovely Allie as well, which is sad. But it's hard to get everybody in the room at the same time. We're all really busy moms, really busy women with careers and all the fun things that we do in our lives. So to get us here was quite the feat. So I'm glad to share space with you today. How are you?
I'm doing great. I know we haven't been together in what, a month or two?
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a long time. Just life happened. It happens to everybody, but we're here now, so.
Yeah. No, I've been traveling back and forth to Montreal and doing a lot of work up there, and I've just been trying to figure out this Mohawk language thing and just trying to do things that make me happy, and it's been real busy. It's been good though.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I don't know what kind of topics you wanted to talk about today, but I have 8,000 things going on in my head, but I don't know if I can nail down just one.
I don't know. I thought maybe we would just wing it. So let's talk about I don't know. Nothing's coming right now.
Well, I think one of the big things that has been coming up in I had a conversation with a friend this last week, and it really hit home for me about like boundaries. And I know we had talked about that a couple of times in different spaces, and I'm louder now, and a couple of times in different spaces. And what it had come down to was when she was explaining it to me, I was like, well, in some respect, when people treat you badly, it's because they feel safe enough to do that. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, is that real? Like, is that something that really happens? And I'm like, when you feel your safest and your most vulnerable, sometimes you turn out into your worst form. And the people who are closest to you get the brunt of that. And I've seen that with so many people, and especially so many people in our community that are going through a lot of things because people are carrying so many things all the time. It's like, who are you treating well and who are you treating badly? And is it because it's safe to do so? And it was just a thought in my head about those relationships and what that looks like. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I do. Right away I'm thinking of our kids. Because unfortunately, I'm speaking of myself, they kind of get like I don't want to say the bad version, but like sometimes the mean mom. Because I have a lot of kids, I have to get them to listen. Well, I don't have to get them to listen, but unfortunately they do. They get that side of me that other people don't see. And it's probably because we're in our own home and like nobody else is around. I'm not saying I hit them or smack them or anything, but I
give them one of these. No, just kidding. That's what my daughter used to say.
It's the yelling part. And
yeah.
I hate that. Like, I hate that about myself. But it kind of resonates because it's, like I said, I'm in the comfort of our own home. There's no other, like, eyes watching. So it's kind of, I don't want to say it's safe, but it's home.
No, I get that. And there's this expectation now, like, I'm trying to gentle parent. And it's like, I wasn't raised in a gentle parent way, and I don't think anybody in community was. I think that's a new thing where you're like, something happens to you and you're like, suck it up, get over it, let's go, move on to the next thing. You can do that. You're tough, right? And for me, I don't want to keep my daughter soft. I want to make sure she can handle hard things in life, but I also want to not traumatize her and make sure she has healthy space. So there's really like a balance in there, and I go back and forth. Like this morning, we had the morning battle of getting her to school. And she's like, I don't wanna. And like, we legit had to like hold her down and put all her clothes on her, and she's screaming her head off. And I'm like, this is traumatizing for me. And I don't know if I was just triggered by the whole thing or if it was actually really traumatic or like, and I'm like, am I being a bad mom? Am I I felt like a failure? Like I woke up feeling like I was not meant to be a mom this morning, you know? And then after a while, like when my husband dropped her off and she was fine, and I took a breath and I smudged my house and I backed up and I was like, like she's 4 and she doesn't know how to regulate her emotions. And I'm not a bad mom for trying to get her to school, but I have those darkest thoughts. And that's when I'm home by myself and nobody's around and I can be that way in my own home, So I think I bet there's a lot of moms out there that have that thought about like, I'm fucking up. I just fucked up my kid and this is a core memory of her being fucked up. Like, that's how I felt this morning. And I was like, God damn it. Like, that's not what I want. And how do I reconcile that? And how do I surround her with love every other place, but also give her a firm discipline and tell her that she don't run my household, like,
right.
Where is that balance? And so I'm struggling with that. And I don't want to be like a tyrant, but I also don't want to be like, oh, whatever, just do whatever you want, like that's hard.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
It's so hard to find that balance, but even us having this conversation and acknowledging it, that right there is just saying what great moms you are, what great moms we are, because it's the truth.
Yeah, I think I go up and down from it. I'm like, thank goodness, like I only have one, and I wish I had a whole bunch of them, but I don't think I could do that. I think I'd pull my hair out of my head, I like give me the strength to get through one day with her, but then I'm so grateful for her at the same time. So it's like the up and down of it, but I guess it's just ensuring that I'm finding that balance, and I don't know what that means really, but I watch all those bullshit moms on TikTok and they're like, let's gentle parent, and I'm like, you're full of shit, lady. When you hang up this phone and put it down, they hang up the phone like we're in like the 80s. When you hang up your phone,
when you push the stop recording button,
when you're done recording, what reality do you really live in, because I feel like there's this whole other world of this like fake book, like TikTok. It's like, who really does any of that stuff, like, do they really do it? Like, do they really organize their pantry with these clear bins? Like,
that's bullshit.
It's such bullshit, but it's so pretty.
It's beautiful, it's really organized, but who the hell has time for that? If you're working, if you have kids, if you are doing every other thing, like, who has the actual time? Like, I don't.
No, I definitely don't.
On top of like keeping bills paid, your house clean, your kids clean, your car clean, like everything else.
Yeah, let's
organized.
Let's buy all the clear plastic. That's probably not recyclable, or like it's just really bad for the environment. All I can see is like petroleum, like all the nasty containers. I'm like, they're not going to break down very well for the earth, and I don't know what that you're going to use that for when we're in the middle of the apocalypse and you're not taking pictures on the internet because we don't have one. So I don't know, maybe I'm just a realist in so many ways. Sometimes like I just get mad like with all the famous people that don't give a fuck about us. Like I'm like but then sometimes I like to look at Oscar dresses and be like, oh, they're so pretty. So I go back and forth with that too. That's the world we live in, right?
Well, it's funny you brought up the apocalypse, because Will and I talk about this, like The Last of Us. Have you been watching that?
I love The Last of Us. I wasn't watching it, and then I heard so many good things about it.
It's amazing.
And I was like, oh my God, I need to watch that. And I started watching it, and I think I binged it in like 3 days, and I was like, Okay, did Joel make the right decision? Do you think he did? Oh, the father's love. I was going on and on. I was really, really into it.
It
Sorry,
was amazing.
spoilers. I didn't say anything, but it's a bit of a spoiler. I said nothing.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It is amazing. But you were talking about the apocalypse with Will, and
Well, because of that show, and like we watch a lot of apocalyptic shows,
yeah, same.
and then I always have the wonder, and then I have to talk to him about it. If in the event that it's the end of the world and there's no electricity, there's people trying to kill you and take your family or your goods or whatever you might provide, if I personally would be able to defend my family, like without him. And he's like, well, fuck yeah, you can. You're strong. You have the know-how. You will do what you need to do. Like, what do you think you would do? Like, have you thought of that?
I have many scenarios running in my head. I have so many different ideas of what I would do, and a lot of them involve trucks and guns and supplies and going up mountains so I get the best view of who's coming. I don't know, like, but then also like bunkers along the way and planning that. But I think that would be a lot of infrastructure. But I think I definitely I have a lot of ideas, especially with this last train derailment and the multiple train derailments that aren't on the news. I think there's that my next plan is to get some sort of sustainable power, especially since we didn't have power for 2 days over the winter, and a lot of people lost their groceries. We were miserable. My daughter, every time the power goes out, cries. Like, she's like, I want the power, mama, we have no Wi-Fi. Like, we're so connected to it, right?
Yes.
Not that we don't go outside, but it's like she loves her cartoons, and I'm not going to take them from her. Like, we read more books than anything, but I just feel like when that happened, it was a real wake-up call to how much we depend on it. And so for us to have some sort of plan for like water purification and air purification and power, like I need those, we need basic needs, right? And as well as protection. So I mean, my husband makes weapons, like apocalyptic weapons with like old knives and metal and paracord. They're so cool. Because he's a welder, and he's a fabricator. So he does this in his spare time. And he's like, look what I made. I'm like, okay, now you need to hide that from our child. Like, go lock that up. But he's got a lot of weird things like that. So I think about that. And I was in our wedding vows where I said that I know that you would protect me in the zombie apocalypse. It was one of the reasons why I married my husband, is because I know when shit goes down, he's going to be there to protect me from whatever's going to happen. But I don't know if I would be able to protect myself physically, but I know strategically I would be able to make a very good plan.
Well, I think everybody has it in them. It's just kind of harnessing that and to pull it out. If somebody is trying to like kill you, or I don't know, take your daughter, like it's kind of weird to think about, but that's the shit I think about, is somebody breaking into our home and then in their hopes of trying to like take our kids.
It's like the survival instincts.
Yes, we'll
you
kick
either
in.
fight or flight, right?
Yes.
And we're not gonna flight. We're gonna get out women. Like, fuck that. We're not going anywhere. We've had enough taken from us. Like, we're gonna stand our fucking ground, or we're gonna find new ground and stand there. Like, I feel like that's definitely like an understanding. And I don't know. I would hope in our community that we would find common ground to not be as divisive as we can be, and that we be able to take care of ourselves as much as we do in a crisis, like with people who are sick and who do fundraisers, and when people have things happen in community, people band together, we take care of each other. So when something like that happens, I would hope we could take off our hats and be able to figure out what skills we all have and come together again, or else we're going down, and I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I mean, I feel like it's a real reality that eventually we're going to get there. Eventually we're going to run out of fuel. We're already having food shortages. There's an economic recession. Leadership in both colonizer states are completely a mess. Like, I mean, that's the reality of the world that we live in right now. So we cannot rely on those systems whatsoever. So for me, my job this year, not only to learn my language and to continue to do the work that I do, is to ensure that I have the knowledge of food sovereignty so that I can grow my own food and store my own food and preserve it and make sure that I can cook it outdoors. Like, I want to make sure that I have all those skills, and I'm going to learn them this year. Like, I'm doing that. I'm working with Ungwe. I'm working with a lot of elders to figure that out, because I don't want to be without. And I feel like it is a reality, and I'm not trying to be like a crazy doomsday prepper with a go bag. Like, I'm not doing that. but I'm just short of that. Right? It just feels like our reality is our Mother Earth is hurting. And like, economically, everybody's living paycheck to paycheck, and we got to take care of our kids, right? That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
However, which way we can,
Well, and we have to teach them.
Yes.
For when they're adults, and if they ever have to go through an apocalypse. So.
And my mom taught me that. That's just like res survival, right? My mom taught me how to can and garden when I was younger, and my dada taught me how to pick medicine, and I don't remember anymore. And so it's like I have to relearn all that. But I remember doing that when I was younger, and it was just common for all of us to do that. Like, everybody had a garden. Everybody canned. Everybody traded their canned goods, and they just figured it out. And we don't do that now, so we have to continue to revitalize that. People are doing it, but not everybody.
Yeah, like I remember going into my dada's garden and picking off a ripe tomato and just like eating it like an apple. And then going into my grandfather's big garden with all of his corn stalks and going and picking the beans.
Yeah,
and then we'd go in and
and all the peas.
I mean,
snap peas.
And you're totally right. Nobody has like those nice big gardens
and full basements with canned everything. And you just be like, go downstairs and get this. And then you have to go and get it, like that. And it'd be like the creepiest basement with all the frogs and bugs and salamanders. And you'd have to go get it. And they didn't care that their basement was leaking. And it was like a smell of comfort, actually. Because
you're right.
They hustled all together as a family to do that. I want that again. I don't have a basement, but my mom does.
No.
But it's willing to do the work, though. Like, I know I want to be in the garden this summer, and I'm
Me
going
too.
to be. And you can come with me.
Woohoo!
Yeah, but I know it's going to be work. It's going to be a workout. It's going to be hard work. It's going to be sweaty. But I know that they need help. All of we have multiple community gardens that don't have the help. It's not just Ungwe's garden at Jungonadio. I mean, Freedom School has a garden. The tribe has a garden. There's so many. And other big families have gardens too. So I feel like that's where my apocalyptic prep mind goes. It's like, the world's going to end. Let's start a garden.
Yeah.
But that's how I felt during the pandemic, right? I had a garden during the pandemic, and I had the best food. And then I just didn't have time to take care of it once I started working again, and when I was in school, and I was like, oh no, I had all these good squashes. And
That's my favorite.
Pumpkins. Yeah. I made maple butternut squash for Wata this year.
Oh, wow.
I made a big pot of it, and I pureed it, and then I put the maple and the butter in there. Oh my God, it was so good.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was really great. And Wata was amazing too. We had Wata ceremony like 2 weeks ago, and the food, it was like silence across the longhouse. Like, everybody was just like, no. Like, you just didn't, like, everybody's eating all the mush, and then someone made cornbread with this like berry puree compo over the top of it.
Oh,
and
wow.
it was like cornbread with the compo, and you were like, who made this beautiful thing? And then someone made wild rice with berries and white corn in it. Blueberries, strawberries, white corn, and wild rice with maple. And I was like, oh my God, I need to have that. So I went home and I made some of it at home too because I had all this stuff. It was like, I don't know, just going back to Longhouse these last couple of times since I haven't been going before with the pandemic. It's just been really such good medicine. So, I mean, I hope that continues at the end of the world.
Well, I'm sure it will, because being Ungwahua, that's not going anywhere.
Yeah, the gratefulness.
So I imagine it will still be here at the end of the world.
I hope so. So what's your favorite part of The Last of Us?
Oh my God, there's so many. Like, it honestly was the best show. Will and I would literally wait. We would get all ready on Sunday because it would air at 9. We'd get our little snacks, I don't know, popcorn, cereal, chips, like whatever we wanted. Probably when he called her baby girl.
Oh, yeah.
When Joel called Ellie baby girl.
Yes.
Because it was like the acknowledgement that he viewed her as a daughter.
Yeah.
And
because the whole time he's like, you're not my daughter.
Yeah.
I'm not your dad. Yeah.
There was absolutely no love in the beginning, and then they just grew to love each other. And then when Ellie, she fucking killed and beat the shit out of that one creepy, like, the mayor.
The pastor guy? Yeah.
Yes.
Ugh, that was so gross.
It was real creepy,
The
but
cannibal guy.
you saw how strong she was.
Yeah.
And she literally harnessed it and just had to do what she had to do to save herself. So those two parts.
I can't imagine being immune and watching everybody around you die, though. Like how she lost her partner or her best friend / partner.
Yes.
And how they both got bit, and then they didn't show it. But I think that was just so heartbreaking. And I don't know. Oh, it was an elder woman that I was talking to the other day. They're like, don't get old. And I'm like, why? They're like, because then you have to watch everybody around you die. And I was like, fuck, don't say that to me. And then when that happened, I was like, oh, it's the same thing, except it's an apocalypse.
Yeah.
I'd rather get bit by a zombie than watch everybody around me die like that. It's just hard.
It is. It's real hard. I'm trying to think of other parts of The Last of Us. I don't know. The whole show was just so good, though.
No, it was. It really was. I mean, I've watched a lot of apocalypse shows, and I think it's one of my favorite. And because the clickers or the zombies aren't the central component of it, and it's the relationships, and I really like watching how like different people form together to make relationships, and who the leaders become, how leaders become leaders, and what that looks like, and how power impacts them. I think that's always really interesting.
Yeah, because it's always like the people that you never ever think of. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the world, and there's no more government, no more anything, those people rise, and they try to rise and overtake.
Or they didn't try to rise, and it was just they happened to have that happen by default.
Yeah.
Like they're like, well, my brother was, so now I am, because I'm pissed off that my brother was murdered, and now here I am, and I just stepped into his shoes. Like I think that's always interesting to see the changing of the guard in some sort of words. Like I feel like that happens in real life in a lot of ways, like with nepotism, but not so extreme, right? But it's definitely an interesting thing to watch. I don't know. I always like looking at different dynamics of power and what they do and how they can corrupt or they can benefit societies. And I think it's interesting to see that in apocalypse shows especially. But I've also been watching scary movies a lot. I just watched the last Scream 5 again, because Scream 6 is coming out. Did you see the preview for that?
I don't think I did.
Oh, did you watch Scream 5?
Just refresh my memory on Scream 5.
Scream 5, and they came back like Courtney, Courtney Cox, is that her name? Yeah, Courtney Cox came back, and Dave, whatever, her husband, ex-husband, Dewey,
Arquette.
yeah, he came back in it, and the main character was the son of I'm doing really bad at this, was the son of Billy Loomis, and Billy Loomis was the guy with his buddy Stu who murdered all the people in the first Scream.
Oh, Skeet Ulrich.
Yes.
And oh God, what's the tall guy?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, no, I haven't seen him.
Nerdy 90s
Yes,
fan. Yeah,
I can see his face.
Yeah,
I just can't remember the name.
No, but anyways, she is the illegitimate daughter of Billy Loomis, and so she comes back because the slasher dude, Ghostface, attacks her sister. So that's the fifth one. So now in the sixth one, I just watched the preview yesterday because I'm going to go see it with my niece when she comes home from university like tomorrow. And they're in the city.
Matthew Lillard.
Isn't he in Scooby-Doo?
He was Shaggy.
Yeah. I'm Shaggy. my best friend Gahilwag, she's Scooby. Anyways, I'm Matthew Lillard. What the fuck? Anyways, I digress. So in 6, they're in the city, I think, and I guess Ghostface follows them there, and I don't know who it is, of course, but the sister is in university, and all the kids that had survived are in university there. So it looks very interesting. There's like subways and city scene. It looks good. And then there's a new John Wick coming out. So I don't know. I like scary movies. I want to go see them all.
Well, John Wick. I love all of John Wick. Like, it's so good. Yeah, I'm excited for that one too.
Yeah, I want to go see them all. And I haven't been able to go to the movies in forever, so I want to go. I've just been working, like, straight out. I've been teaching med students.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's been real weird. I mean, it's good, but it's real weird. I mean, I think it's cool to find a space where I'm, like, using my skills and I'm like dropping bombs here and there about like all sorts of good things. And I have really great students who want to treat our communities better when they become doctors, and they really want to learn. And it's so much different from like the spaces that I've been in other academic institutions, because a lot of people have walls up and they don't want to change. And you see that. So for me to be able to teach people that are open to that kind of change and that information has been so refreshing to me, because I hate hitting walls. And I mean, I can handle a wall when I hit it, but to be able to share knowledge with those who are actually going to use it and do good with it is so, it's what I'm supposed to do, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's good. It's real good. So I've been doing a lot of teaching. I've been doing a lot of events, and then I've been writing a lot of grants, and I've been so busy. I want to go to bed.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, how are you even functioning?
And I'm beading a lot. I'm doing all sorts of beadwork.
Well, are those yours that you're wearing?
No, these are what's her name? Ever Nezo. I can share it on my.
Oh my God, I love them. They're little like
little
angry
clouds. Yeah, they're little bitchy clouds.
They are just so cute.
Yeah. She does tuft work and quill work too, but she does a lot of really fun stuff.
Wow. See, I love seeing beadwork that just the artists, whatever they want to create. I mean, everybody that does beadwork is amazing, but it's the unique ones where I'm just more drawn to.
Yeah, I saw one where this one person, I'm not sure who it is, I just noticed it recently. They did an Amazon Prime box with brick stitch, and it looked like an Amazon Prime box. And then I saw he also did another one that was like those plastic gates that they do, like the square ones that they look like they're plastic, and then they have like the iron poles to keep people out, and it's like got 3 poles, and then it's like orange plastic for like construction sites or whatever. He did one of those with brick stitch. And you could, like, it looked real.
Oh
like
my
it
God.
looked like a real thing. It was like, you know, like those shows, is it Cake or what is it, Cake or something, or is it Real or Cake or whatever? There's that show. It was like that. Instead it was like beads. Is it beads or is it a construction site? Like, what is happening here? Is it your package or is it beads? Like, I don't know. It was fucking crazy. I couldn't even believe it, because I've seen people do portraits and I've seen people do some amazing work with, like, I like the horror story themed beadwork that's out there. Like all the like whether they're doing serial killers or like just main characters, like, it's so good. So
It
good.
is. Well, you yourself are also great at beadwork. Like, I loved your most recent.
Oh, my
The
flower
uterus. Oh my God, that was so amazing.
Oh my God, that took me forever.
It was so amazing,
like
though.
my cousin Mary, like, I was like, do you know how big this is gonna be? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, do you know I have to use the smallest beads ever, because they're just super teeny tiny? And I was like, you know, I have to do this well. Like, I have to do this well. And she sent me an image, and it was from Planned Parenthood. So I took it on paint, because I'm not a graphic designer. So I took it on paint and I started erasing things and moving things around, so it became mine. And it was easier for me to bead without such detail. And I was like, all right, here we go. I'm making these tulips and I'm gonna do all this little tiny beadwork. And I was like, you know, I always question myself. I'm like, I started beading 8 years ago, maybe. And I was like, I'm just someone who likes to pick it up and do it, you know, like, I'm not really I never thought I was an artist. And then within my last couple of pieces that I've done, I'm like, you know what? I'm a fucking artist.
Yes, you
like,
are.
I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I made my cousin Abraham these ones that are like Two-Spirit Love, and they have crystals in them, and they're brick stitch around ovals, and then they have rabbit fur. And he was like, I was like, what are you going to do? I was like, what do you want from me? And I showed him these little simple ovals that I had been doing. And he's like, oh, girl, don't fuck with me. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, you know how I am. I was like, you think I'm going to make one of these for you? Who do you think I am? And he's like, what are you going to make me? And he's like, bitch, fuck me up. And I was like, all right, here I go. And then I did it. And I gave it to him for Christmas. And he was like, what? Like, what? These are everything. You know how AB goes like this. He's just so into it. And I was just like super, super proud, because I don't know what, like, the next ones that I'm making are for Toby, and she asked me, like, artist, I'm gonna give them to her before this comes out so I can say this. They're like artist choice, and you gave me artist choice too, and I was like, I know what I'm doing for yours already, but I'm not telling you. But for hers, my husband, my brother-in-law killed a deer, and we ate the deer and it was so good, and it went right from the forest to the butcher block to my table. Like, it was just amazing. And then he gave us horns, and Aduwa sliced them up, and he made cabs with them, and then he polished them with this really fine grit, and then he made cabs for me. So I found these really beautiful antique beads online, like blue ones and gold ones, and then my dad gave me moose hide. So I'm doing these moose hide earrings. I'm almost done. I have one left, but they're like this big. And then they go like smaller this way and then smaller this way, like 3 of them. And the bottom 2 aren't moose hide, they're felt. But they're like the moose hide, and then they're blue. They're the cab, and blue and gold and cream. And the bottom parts, they can come off. So you can wear 2 smaller ones, or 1 bigger one by themselves, or you can wear all 3 of them together.
Amazing.
Like, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, and they're gorgeous. And I was like, I don't know where it comes from or why, but I feel like I've been surrounding myself with artists my whole life, whether it was in the museum or the cultural center, or working with museums across New York State and Canada, like all over, you know, like I really surround myself with creative people all the time, and I never thought I was creative. I always thought I was just a crafter, you know, like I can make Rice Krispie treats and make them look like chickens, you know, like, I don't know.
Chickens.
Let me just try something, like if somebody posted something online, I'd try it. And it was fun, like a crafty project. Let's go to the Joann's or Walmart and get some shit and do it. And like cake pops or cupcakes or something. And then when I started beading with Joanne and Becky at the traveling college, it was like, all right, I can do this. And I started with my one little strawberry flower, and Diane Swamp too. I was beading with her. And then I did like a mandala after that, and then I beaded my own beadwork from my mucklucks, and I just kept going. And I was like, I didn't bead anything for sale, and I just gifted. And now I'm selling things, which is really weird because I don't know what to sell things for, but I know what I will pay hundreds of dollars for a good pair of earrings. I don't mess around. I have an obsession. And I'd like to see, I don't know if that's a thing we could do, is ask all the community members or women out there to like show off their earring collections, because I know there's some huge earring collections out there.
There is.
Because you can always fit your earrings.
That's right. And like we were talking about the benefits, people always do like the earring tree or an earring basket with like 100 or more beaded earrings from all of the different artists and community. Like that would be freaking amazing to win just that.
Oh yeah. I won that bead tree or bead table. I still have to like, there's some classes that came with that and stuff, but there was like 4 table settings with like bead kits.
Oh, wow.
And like different like Christmas bulbs filled with beads, and I gifted everything out except for everything that I really wanted. But I gave like bead kits out to like all of my close friends that bead, and I was like, these are for you all because I care about you and I don't need all of this stuff. And I got my bead board that has a little bird on, or a bee on it. It's a little honeybee on there with the wings, and then you can put the beads in the wings, and it's really cool. Yeah, but Random Martin sells all that stuff, and it's or you can find it online. But I was super excited about it because I don't ever give myself time to buy stuff for myself like that. And when I'm beading, it's like a real good medicine, right? It's not just I'm beading to sell it. It's more like I'm taking time to sit here by myself with my tea, and nobody's going to bother me. And my daughter knows not to come up to me, and I can just, she'll come up to me and see what I'm doing, and I can talk to her and while she's playing, and we talk while she plays. But she's not like messing with my beads. Like she knows better, and she's always known better. And it's surprising to me because she's little. I don't you'd think she'd want to take them all. But I think her knowing Mama beads, and that's her time, and she'll be watching TV, and I'll be sitting on the bed next to her just beading and like watching Netflix on my phone or something because I'm not gonna watch cartoons. It's good. It's real good. It's me time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I like it. I like what I'm gonna come up with next.
Ooh, that'll be exciting.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I think I have 9 on my waiting list.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 9, 8. After this one, it'll be 8. Yeah, it's a lot, and if I didn't want to put out another, I'm gonna wait and get that list down before I post again. If I do, I don't know. I'm trying not to pressure myself, or else it won't be fun anymore, right?
Yeah, then it's just like more work and another job.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Did you ever go see that Kira?
Not yet. No, I'm beading, and I'm saving the money from each piece of beadwork that I do for my tattoo. But I think I'm going to get a chest piece.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, we were supposed to go, and then like family stuff happened and we couldn't go. So she changed our appointment to the end of September. So we're still going to go. Yeah. It's going to be real good.
So are you going to do like a full chest piece or just...
Well, I have bows right here on my collarbones, so it'll probably be like here.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, like, I was looking at star quilts, but I wanted it to be like a star quilt, but it looked like stars in the star quilt triangles, but like swirly in there. Because my daughter, she changes the direction of the wind and stirs the skies. Like, that's her name.
Yeah.
So I want it to be like a star, but a star quilt with like those dots and it'd be swirly, kind of like a what's that painting? The nighttime one. I
Oh
can't think
God,
of it.
yes.
You know which one I'm talking about.
I do. It's like blue and
Yeah.
there's like a weird
It's
crooked
so bad. It's
church
like
or
building.
building.
The building. You can look it up for me because I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna get that tattooed on me. I don't even know what it's called.
A Starry Night, isn't it?
Starry Night.
That's
yes.
what it's called.
Yes, Starry Night. Kind of like that. Yeah. But enclosed in a quilt star. Yeah, I think that's the best way to say that. Yeah. And I still got to work on my other sleeve, and then I'll be good. No, I lied.
Once nobody's ever good from tattoos.
No, it's such an addiction. Yeah, I was I don't know. I have 10 things to talk about, but I feel like this month has been really heavy for community. As I think every time we get on here, there's been like more deaths and more sadness, but there's also been a lot of really good things in community that are happening, and like all the kids that are getting like student achievement awards, and the hockey team, and the big parade that went through. Like I know that people are grieving. I know that it's heavy, but there's also springtime. You know, I did a presentation at McGill last, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I don't even know when it was, about midwinter and about our ceremonies and how we lift our faces out of the darkness into the light during midwinter, because at that time that's when we need socialization, that's when we need each other, that's when we need to celebrate that we're still here midwinter. And I don't know, I'm feeling that this year. Like I feel like it's been 3 years of darkness, you know? You feel that?
I do. Like I'm normally one I love winter. Probably I was born in March, kind of tail end of winter, but still winter. And it was a long, like January. I felt January was so long. It's so dark. It's cold. Like you can't really do anything, and you're just kind of stuck inside with people you see like every day.
So sick.
Which I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it gets very routine. And I was so happy once we went back to the daylight savings, which is kind of silly to begin with. But now that we're getting more sunlight, it's refreshing. Like, obviously spring is here, but it's just refreshing. The snow's going away. The animals are all coming out. So the new beginnings are here.
And there was bunnies in my yard.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not even afraid of me. They see me every year. They're like, hey. Or maybe their ancestors have seen me every year. But I don't know. They just sit there and look at me like, hey, what's up? And they don't even really move or like hop away until I get real close. I'm like, wow, you are brave little bunnies. No, I'm excited about it. I think spring is coming. I wouldn't be surprised if we get one more huge snowstorm before it really comes, because that's where we live. But I do think there has been a lot of darkness, and I'm hoping that this summer that there's a lot of healing that happens, and we're feeling better, like overall, like all of us. I don't know, I wish the best for everybody, and I think that's where I'm headed with my journey of food preservation learning. And I took my first beginner's language class on Wednesday, and I was like, wow, I really know a lot. I'm not going to be rude. Put your turn off your mic and sit there and just say all the words as they're saying them. And it's cool that I know so much. It's just I don't know how to say sentences. You know, like when they say all the words, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that means. Oh yeah, I know what that means. But I'm still trying to get that mommy and me group together. I don't know how that's going to happen. It's hard to coordinate, just like it is to get here.
It is. It's really hard, especially like it's nobody can kind of get the same schedule. That's the biggest. Oh, wait. I forgot the other like favorite part of The Last of Us. Of course, Bill and his partner.
Yes.
Like I totally spaced on them.
I love them.
That was like the best.
It was surprising.
Very, but
Came out of nowhere.
like it was such a heartwarming love story. It was so good.
It was beautiful. It was just, I don't know, like if you could have like a white picket fence in the middle of the apocalypse and grow strawberries. I don't know. Like it's just wild to me that they were able to have like that. They had like the balance of the relationship. Like he was so paranoid and so neurotic, and he had the bunker and all the guns. And then his partner was like, let's grow strawberries and have a dinner party. Like it was so cute.
Like the normalcy too of
Yeah.
pre-apocalyptic times.
Yes.
So, but no, that episode was just so good. The romance, the love, the survivalist versus the romantic.
No, it was good. It was so, I don't know, it was needed. It humanizes the space. It humanizes what's happening all around in the world crumbling down around you, that you can actually just hold on to someone and make something normal out of that. And I think it's kind of a metaphor, right? Like I was talking to my partner today, and sometimes the world falls around us. And it's like we can choose to like beat the shit out of each other, like not like metaphorically, but we can choose to really take it out on each other, or we can hold on to each other instead of push each other away. And I think that was like when I looked at that couple, like they did that, like really they did that, and then sometimes it was metaphorically they did that. And it's like what do you choose to bring into your space that's healthy or unhealthy, or you know? But I really like the dynamic, and it's like holding on to your partner when the whole world falls around you,
Literally,
or
yeah,
shoving them the fuck out the door. Like it just depends, you know? Like I mean, I know there was other partners in the storyline that did that. They were like, no, I'm on my own, see you later, you know? So it's interesting, and I like to do that. I mean, maybe that's overthinking, and I'm a really great overthinker. But take it in and take all those kinds of things in and see where they apply or don't apply, or maybe I can be overanalyzing. I like to analyze.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No. Bring up those dynamics. Good nerdy stuff, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. I wonder what everybody else would have to say about the apocalypse. Would you survive or would you perish? Who would be on your safety team? Would you have a lot of people?
See, I never really thought of like who would be on the team.
I'm like, who's on your team? What supplies would you have? Where would you store them? What kind of weapons would you carry? Would you want ammo? Because I don't think you should have ammo, because you'd run out and you'd always be searching for ammo, especially for a specific kind of like weapon. You know, like if you, I mean, 22s would be easy, but I don't know, for accuracy, it wouldn't be that great. Like I could just like I could go all the way down the line on this kind of conversation, and we could talk about it all day long.
Well, I was even talking with Will, and I'm like, our house where we are, we could do kind of like the town with Bill and how they did the whole fence of, I don't know, however many acres and however the mileage.
Right.
But they literally fenced in however much. And I'm like, we could do that. We could do our house, and like we would have the water supply, and then we could do it the other side of the road. And like that way the kids would have, I don't know, a few acres to just kind of be kids in, and then we could find some chickens and we could get some goats. And
chickens and goats.
I could grow a garden, like just like Bill.
Yeah.
While protecting our family. And then that's when we can decide of who to let in. Shut everybody out first, and then allow them in. Who we choose. You
know, they do say that if shit went down, that some say, like I've heard geologists say that we're on fault lines
Mm-hmm.
and that it would be dangerous for us if we had like an earthquake. And then I've heard other people say that we are in an advantageous space where people would want to come here and they'd want to be in our landmass because we have all the waterways.
Right.
So I've heard both of those things in my lifetime. And I just wonder, like people talk about that. It happens in meetings often, like, which is weird now that people bring that up. They're like, well, we need to like gear up because we're on the water. And I'm like, well, what, also the customs is on the water, and also there's other big like Cornwall's on the water. Like, do you think they're all gonna, like, everybody's gonna come this way? I don't know. I don't know.
That's
how
a really
the human
good
response
question.
is. Yeah, what is the human response when it comes to the apocalypse? Like, well, how would we, as a community, how would we protect ourselves? Like, you can't just block a highway. You'd have to block all the riverbeds, all the banks.
You're right, because that's like a big port
Yeah.
for passing, like ships to pass
And
through.
it would be livelihood at that point, right?
You're right.
Yeah. So we'd have to bunker down on the river as well. It wouldn't just be highway like we do when we have blockades.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I forget that we're so close to the river. Because
We're
like
river people.
yes. Like I literally grew up I don't know, a quarter mile away from the river, where some people literally their front yard is the river.
Right.
I just kind of forget about it.
Now, I always fall in the river when I go there. My whole life. Or get pushed in the river. That's kind of my forte. Ask my cousin Louie from St. He always pushed me in the river. Now we have to go swimming. Sarah fell in the river. She's already wet. Good excuse. Thanks, guys. Thanks. No, but I think our brothers, the Aboriginal outlaws, should take this into their new political Sage Against the Machine discussion and talk about the political dynamics when it comes to the apocalypse. And maybe I could be on that show too, because
oh, there you go.
that'd be super fun. Because I have been thinking about this for a long time, and I feel like it kind of segues into that if you think about the political realities of an apocalypse.
Well, then also too, we have the dam.
Yeah.
Like that would be who would protect the dam, because that would be people would want to go to it, or they might want to destroy it, and then we get flooded.
So we'd have to take over Messina and the seaway.
Yes.
So let's write it down what we're gonna do and not say it on air, because then we're just incriminating ourselves.
Oh shit! Yeah.
But at that point, we won't have law anyways, so I don't think it'll be a problem. Yeah. So on that note, Victoria and I are planning for the apocalypse, and I hope you all are ready.
And we're doomsday prepping.
Yes. Food sovereignty and preservation. Think about the future, the next 7 generations.
There you go.
Us.
That's right.
Exactly. I don't have anything else today. I think I'm spent. But thank you for sharing in this good conversation. I missed you.
I know. I missed you too. This was so much fun, like always.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sarah.
And Victoria.